Welcome back to Word of Mouth as I discuss my review on Avengers Endgame. I want to keep this nice and short and straight to the point. Originally, the movie was scored at 97%. Now that's great, but personally, I believe it deserves the current score of 94%, maybe 91%. A lot of folks out there have started to bandwagon these films because the Marvel Cinematic Universe has continuously pushed past unbreakable boundaries and reached out to a variety of different people. One could say it's just as bad as a bandwagon Cowboys fan because if you live in Texas, you have to be a Cowboys fan. For the hardcore Marvel nerds out there, please stop with the finger pointing of this and that. I get it. You read the comics, and I'm pretty sure more than me. If you're going to be picking at a movie because it's not how it is in the comics, then stick to your hand-drawn superheroes while I watch as I see those hand-drawn heroes come to life on the big screen. I love that MCU has brought so many people together and even brought fans like myself out of the shadows and has now defined the word nerd as cool in some form. What I mean by that is if you don't know anything about any MCU movies, Star Wars movies, Lord of the Rings movies, or just about anything in the now in terms of big screen entertainment, then people will just give you a look and say, what the fuck is wrong with you? So I'm here to run down a few points as to why Endgame was both good and bad, and I'm going to start off with the bad. So I'm not going to give any hard spoilers, but I am going to give some soft spoilers, nothing as serious as I did with my last review. Number 1. Captain Marvel was both a waste of a movie on its own and a character in this movie. I say this because they built so much hype to push out a movie that felt rushed, and then to barely use her and what her character was being built up for. That is just a big fat rip. Number 2, Hulk. I love the Hulk, but I felt they really pushed for a new look on him that people hardly knew about. Not to mention a bit disappointing. Don't get me wrong though, he was pretty funny. Number 3, the beginning of the end. And what I mean by this is that Infinity War was just an okay, maybe good movie at best. I feel they could have cut some of the beginning of Endgame and made that a part of the end of Infinity War to help open the ending more for Endgame. Now for the good. Number 1, the post-apocalyptic superhero battle that lasts for a very big chunk of the film had me on the edge of my seat. You knew what was going to happen. Everyone knew except the end part. The battle was just the most intense and insane scene I have seen in the cinemas since Lord of the Rings. Game of Thrones holds the longest for the TV, not the cinema. So don't compare, you little fanboys out there. Number 2, I would say the take on Thor was brilliant. They really spoke with his character visually. However, a lot of what happened with him in the movie still raises some serious questions with me. Number 3, the whole jumping around through space and time in the movie also led to some serious questions. They made themselves visible in a lot of important scenes from older movies that still make you question the timeline. I mean, they explain what they can, but it still doesn't answer some unkept details. Number 4, and speaking of unkept details, one character who died previously came through to the future from the past. So if the balance of time was kept, how is it that they're still there in the future even though they existed in the past? There's a lot unanswered. In fact, I think they split the timeline and created a new line with very similar sequence of events that didn't alter much of the future except about the big purple guy. Not that guy, this guy. Number 5, the movie does utilize every hero from all the movies before. That was a given, and it was amazing that they were able to accomplish this feat, pushing those boundaries I talked about earlier. Now to end off, I really feel like they try to push a lot into this movie story-wise, not characters, minus the whole Captain Marvel mess that I talked about. Don't get me wrong, it was an absolutely fantastic movie, but for the story, I feel they could have squeezed some of it in Infinity War and add more depth in Endgame, but that's just me. Now this movie brings to light a different take on space-time theories. If they were to have unchanged the past, but still altered the future, how is the past still unaffected? That's my question for you. I will leave the rest for you all to discuss. This is Word of Mouth. Till next time.